Welcome to this Q&A Help Explainer. So, you are gearing up for your WASSCE, JAMB, or NECO exams, right? Well, you are definitely in the exact right place. Look, I know exam prep can feel, honestly, a bit overwhelming sometimes. But our goal today, we're going to make these concepts crystal clear, perfectly structured, and, actually fun to learn. Today, we're tackling a real past question, and we're going to break it down step by step. The idea is that you don't just memorize the answer, but you truly understand the biology behind the whole shebang. So let's get focused and conquer this together. All right, let's look at the exact question we're solving today. It's pulled straight from the WASSCE Biology 2026 past questions. It goes like this. The following substances are products of decomposition except A. Carbon-4 oxide, B. Hydrogen sulphide, C. Heat, or D. Feces. Now, this is a classic biological puzzle. WAEC absolutely loves to test your attention to detail with questions just like this one.
Okay, let's dive into this. The single most dangerous word in this entire question, it's except. Literally, this one word changes the entire direction of our search. You see, we're not looking for what is produced when things decay. We're actively hunting for the odd one out. We need the option that is not a product of decomposition. Recognizing this trap early, that is half the battle won right there.
But before we go evaluating our options, we really need to make sure our foundation is rock solid. So what exactly is decomposition? Put simply, it's the breakdown of dead organic matter by tiny decomposers, primarily bacteria and fungi. Think of it as nature's ultimate recycling system. If we didn't have these microscopic cleaners going to work on dead plants and animals, our world would literally be overrun with waste. They do the dirty work so new life can actually thrive.
And here is how that recycling system flows chronologically. First off, you have the dead matter. That's your fallen leaves, dead animals, organic waste. Second, the microorganisms move in. The bacteria and fungi just start feeding, breaking down those complex biological structures. And finally, as a result of all that intense microbial action, simpler substances get released back into the environment. Those simpler substances, those are our products of decomposition. So, let's test option A against this flow. Carbon-4 oxide, which you probably know better as carbon dioxide. As those bacteria and fungi are breaking down dead matter, remember, they are living, breathing organisms. They undergo cellular respiration, and just like you and I exhale carbon dioxide, so do they. Because it's released directly by the microbes as they work, carbon-4 oxide is definitively a direct product of decomposition. Moving right along to option B, hydrogen sulphide. Now, if you've ever walked past a stagnant swamp or maybe a big heap of decaying organic matter and caught a whiff of this absolutely terrible rotten egg smell, you've smelled hydrogen sulphide. When microorganisms break down matter that contains proteins and sulfur, this gas is naturally released straight into the air. So, hydrogen sulphide, it easily passes the test as a natural byproduct of decay. Next up is option C, which is heat. Now, this one actually trips up a lot of students, mainly because it's not a gas or a tangible physical substance. But remember what we said. Microorganisms are incredibly active when they're decomposing matter. All of that metabolic activity, all that respiration, it releases energy. If you've ever reached your hand into the center of a large compost heap, you know exactly what I mean. It feels surprisingly warm to the touch. That heat is being actively generated by the microbes, making it a perfectly valid product of decomposition. So a big green tick for C.
Now, what's really interesting about this next one is option D, feces. Feces is the solid waste material passed out of the digestive tract of animals and humans. It's undigested food and waste from a living organism. It is absolutely not the result of dead matter being broken down by environmental bacteria and fungi. So feces is going to get a massive red cross here. Let's bring all this evidence together so we can just compare everything at a quick glance. Carbon dioxide? Yes, that's a product. Hydrogen sulphide? Yes, product. Heat? Yes, product. Feces? No way. When you lay it all out like this, the comparative evidence is just completely clear. Option D is undoubtedly our suspect here, the odd one out.
So, the crucial point is really understanding the core biological difference between being a product of a process and being a subject of that process, right? Carbon-4 oxide, hydrogen sulphide, and heat. They are all produced by the act of decomposition. Feces, on the other hand, is a waste material that will eventually undergo decomposition when it hits the soil. It's the starting material, folks, not the finishing product. All right, it is time for a rapid-fire active recall session. We've got to lock this knowledge in permanently. Let's see how sharp your focus is right now. Quick quiz 1. Which gas released during decomposition is also called carbon dioxide? Is it A, oxygen, B, carbon 4-oxide, C, nitrogen, or D, hydrogen?
If you went with B, carbon 4-oxide, fantastic job. You're paying really close attention to those scientific names, which, trust me, is absolutely crucial for catching WAEC's little tricks.
Let's keep this energy up. Quick quiz 2. Think back to that distinct sensory detail we talked about just a few minutes ago. Which gas gives a rotten egg smell during decay? A, hydrogen sulphide, B, oxygen, C, carbon monoxide, or D, nitrogen?
Boom! The answer is A, hydrogen sulphide. That unmistakable smell is just a classic indicator of sulfur-containing proteins breaking down. I bet you're definitely never going to forget that smell now.
Okay, final quiz question to directly test that core trick WAEC tried to play on us earlier. Feces is best described as what? A, a product of decomposition. B, a waste material that can decompose. C, carbon dioxide. Or D, heat.
Hit the nail on the head. Exactly right. The answer is B. It's a waste material that can decompose. You've successfully navigated the exam trap just by knowing the exact difference between a starting material and a final product.
Which brings us to our final confirmation for WASSCE Biology 2026, question 1. The correct answer is indeed D, feces. To make sure you are always this prepared and honestly this confident, head on over to QandAHelp.com. They take all these scattered past questions and organize them into a really brilliant reviewer-checked library for WAEC, JAMB, and more. It's all about preparing smarter, not just harder. But hey, before you go, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. If feces isn't a product of decomposition, what exact microbial processes and environmental factors must it eventually undergo to completely vanish into the ecosystem? Keep asking those deep questions, keep studying hard, and I will see you in the next explainer.